Hello, everyone, and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we will learn how to leverage ChatGPT and GPT-4 to answer common legal questions and basically pretend as if ChatGPT is a lawyer. So let's go ahead and start with our first prompt. So my first prompt is going to be, pretend that you are an expert lawyer in California, US. What are the potential consequences of DUI or driving under the influence conviction? So if you press enter, here we go. Basically, you will get a quick answer telling you as an expert lawyer in California, can tell you that a driving under the influence or DUI conviction can have severe consequences. And basically there are fines, there is like jail time, there is ignition, interlock device or IID, and there is many as well explanation here, which is basically it's really accurate. Okay. Let's go ahead and ask another question. Let's assume that right now I would like ChatGPT to pretend that it's an expert lawyer in Toronto, Canada, and I'm asking ChatGPT to assume that my rented house contains mold and my landlord doesn't want to fix it. How do I handle this dispute with my landlord? You press enter. Here we go. It's going to tell you first you need to notify your landlord, and then you need to get a mold inspection. If that doesn't work, you need to consult with a lawyer. And then you need to contact the landlord and tenant board. And this is actually pretty accurate. I went through that myself before. And then consider withholding rent at the end. Okay. Next, let's ask another question. I'm going to say, pretend that you're an expert lawyer in Toronto, Canada. My new tenant refused to pay rent, for example. How do I handle this dispute with my tenant? Here we go, as an expert lawyer in Toronto, Canada. And what's really powerful as well about ChatGPT is when you mention that you are pretending to be an expert lawyer in a specific location, it basically, because it has already been trained on pretty much the internet, and it knows all the laws with these different jurisdictions and these different states, it can give you a detailed, customized advice, which is super powerful. So you can see here, check your lease agreement, communicate with your tenant, send the notice, file a claim, and then hire a lawyer at the end, and then it's giving you a conclusion as well. Okay. Let's go ahead and maybe assume that we would like to file a will, for example. I'm going to say, what are the legal requirements for filing a will? Here, well, something went wrong, so I need to possibly restart it again. And let's go ahead and try it out. Here we go. The legal requirements for filling up a will is as follows. First, you need the person who's making the will must be a legal age and have a mental capacity as well to write that will. And here's assuming they're at least 18 years old. And then the will must be in writing. The will must be signed by the testator. And then the will should contain a clear and unambiguous statement. And again, it's giving you clear instructions of what are the requirements to file a will. Okay, let's assume that you would like to file, for example, a personal injury lawsuit. And I'm going to say, how do I file a personal injury lawsuit? It's going to tell you, well, these are simply the instructions. First, you need to get medical treatment. You need to gather evidence. You need to contact a personal injury attorney. You need to draft the complaint, file the complaint, discovery, settlement, negotiation, and then trial. Okay, again, pretty powerful. Next, let's assume that you would like, for example, to maybe file a bankruptcy, for example. And what are the options available? So I'm going to say, here we go. Filing for bankruptcy is a complex legal process that involves various steps and requirements. First, you need to determine your eligibility. You need to choose your bankruptcy type. There are Chapter 7, Chapter 13. You need to complete the bankruptcy forms, file the bankruptcy forms, attend credit counseling, attend the meeting of creditors, and then discharge of debts. Okay, again, pretty powerful. And then what I would like to show you next is I would like to basically show you an article here that has been released recently talking about GPT-4 and its reasoning capability compared to its previous predecessor, which is ChatGPT or GPT 3.5. And basically here it's telling you that GPT-4 beats 90% of lawyers trying to pass the bar exam. Basically, the intelligence and reasoning ability of the GPT models went from 10%, okay, just I'm talking about specific about the bar exam, to almost beating 90% of lawyers with GPT-4. And this is, again, pretty incredible, super powerful. And I wanted to show you that in action right now by trying to basically getting an exam question from the bar exam and pass that question to GPT 3.5 and pass it to GPT-4 and see if the answer basically differ. I tested it out myself and the answers actually differ. And you'll find that GPT-4 reasoning ability is much better compared to ChatGPT or GPT 3.5 model. Okay, let me show you the where I'm going to get these questions. So here, I have a link to the bar exam sample question. And here you will see that I have few questions here. For example, this is the first question. Husband and wife were married in state A and lived for 10 years after separating. And basically the wife claimed that she is entitled to $300,000 in alimony. And the husband appeared in the action and has filed a motion to dismiss for lack of subject matter jurisdiction. And basically we have 4 options here. You can choose the option and then you can submit it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy basically here, this text. I'm going to go back and then I'm going to, please note, if I click on new chat, now I'm selecting GPT 3.5. This is simply the ChatGPT, okay, and this is a default. And as I mentioned, this will only score 10% on the bar exam, right? So if you just copy basically the question along with the multiple choices here, it's going to tell you, well, the correct answer is D. Yes, because the wife did not establish a domicile in state B, as an example. Let's see if that answer was right or wrong. So if I go back here and if I select choice D and I click submit, it's going to tell you, well, that's actually wrong. The correct answer was C, meaning that basically GPT 3.5 here actually failed to solve that question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, please click on new chat. And I wanted to select and see if GPT-4 was able to answer that question correctly. What you notice here is with GPT 3.5, you'll find the reasoning ability has only 3 out of 5. The speed is almost 5 out of 5. It's actually quite fast. And conciseness, only 2 out of 5. However, when you go to GPT-4, you will find the reasoning ability is almost 5 out of 5. And this is kind of scary. And I've tried it out as well with writing code, with doing super powerful as well reasoning. It has incredible reasoning ability that pretty much beats humans. So let's go ahead and select GPT-4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically copy the exact same question, okay? So I'm going to copy the question, which is, I already have it here. Okay, so I'm going to say copy, come back, and I'm going to paste it here again, and let's see. And it's going to tell you, well, here we go. The correct answer is actually C. It's not D. And it's telling you yes, because state courts have exclusive jurisdiction over this type of action. And this is actually correct, and that's exactly what we got here for answer. The correct answer was actually C and not D. And that's it. That's pretty much all I have for this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next lesson.